You feel stuck. You try to change, but you keep falling back into the same patterns. You want clarity, strength, focus, confidence, but every day dissolves into routine, distractions, delay, and self-deception. You wake up already behind. You know what you should be doing, but you're not doing it. You read, you watch, you get inspired, but the action falls apart. But here's what matters. All of this can change. Everything that holds you back can be reprogrammed. Through the principles of Stoicism, science, and honest, grounded self-transformation, not hacks, not magic, but real work, change is possible. This video isn't about motivation. It's about how change actually works. And if you're ready to go deep, if you're willing to walk through resistance, you will feel the shift. Let's begin. Principle 1. Let go of naive thinking. If you believe you can truly change in a week, it's time to wake up. This isn't negativity. This is reality. We live in a culture addicted to instant gratification, quick fixes, and false promises. 7 steps to success. 21 days to a new you. But none of that reflects how actual transformation works. The brain is a system trained by repetition. It moves, reacts, and decides based on deeply rooted behavioral patterns. These patterns weren't created yesterday. They were formed through years of repetition. That's why problems like fear, procrastination, insecurity, or self-deception feel almost unshakable. The brain chooses the familiar, even when it's slowly killing you. You may hate the life you're living, but your mind clings to it because it's predictable. And to your survival-oriented brain, predictability feels safer than the unknown. What you're really fighting against isn't laziness. It's a deeply embedded neural structure that reacts automatically ahead of your conscious awareness. That's why change is never as simple as just decide and do. You're up against a machine that defaults to survival, not growth. If you want real change, understand this. New behavior doesn't grow in the soil of old thinking. It won't integrate unless you first disrupt who you were. Transformation is not about motivation. It's about repeated contradiction of the old version of yourself until it dies. And the moments when it feels like nothing is happening, those are the most important. That's when you're wrestling not with the world, but with the parts of you that were built to resist change. You can't beat that in 7 days. Principle 2. You are a biological system, but you can reprogram it. Here's a difficult truth. You are not in control of yourself in the way you imagine. Your conscious mind isn't a throne from which you command your actions. It's an observer. Most of your decisions, impulses, and responses are triggered before you even realize it. And then your mind comes in to justify them as if you were in control the whole time. Human beings don't actually have free will, at least not in the way we're taught. What we call choice is often the end result of a chain of automated processes. Instincts, memories, chemical feedback, environmental stimuli. We are systems reacting to input. But here's the power in that realization. Systems can be influenced, and the human system uniquely can change itself through experience, repetition, and pressure. That ability is called neuroplasticity. It means you can physically reshape your brain through consistent new input. You don't rewire yourself through thought alone. You recondition yourself through behavior. It's not about affirmations. It's about confrontation. You train your system through direct exposure, physical action, and repetition in the face of resistance. That's how a new internal architecture takes form. New thought patterns arise only from new experience. You don't carry yourself into a new self through simple reflection. It's action that leads, not thinking. You have to step into the fire of what's unfamiliar and let it burn away the automatic loops that held you in place. Break the cycle. Break your default response. If you always run, confront. If you always shut down, speak. If you always scroll, stand up. It will feel awkward. It will feel unnatural. And that's exactly why it works. Real change is not comfort. It's friction. Principle 3. Build a system for your days. Be honest. How do you start your day? How do you end it? Is there structure, rhythm, and intention? Or are you just reacting to messages, moods, and the noise of your environment? Without structure, your energy dissolves. Without rhythm, your brain defaults to old habits. And what's familiar will always win when there's no conscious design. The mind seeks the path of least resistance. If you don't create a path, it will follow whatever costs the least energy. Marcus Aurelius, philosopher and emperor, began and ended each day with a letter to himself. In the morning, he prepared his mind. He would write, "Today I may encounter selfish, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful men." He expected it. He trained for it. At night he asked himself, "What did I do well? What did I fail to do? What must I improve?" That is power, not controlling others, but mastering your own reflection. Owning the narrative of your day. Start small. Morning intention, evening reflection. Write it out. Repeat it. Anchor yourself in these simple rituals, and you begin to shape your inner life, not through force, but through design. Principle 4. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. Most people think environment means their apartment or the friends they hang out with. But your true environment is everything you regularly absorb, the words you read, the images you see, the sounds you hear. That's the real architecture of your mind. Every day, you are either building yourself or being slowly dismantled. Posts, clips, memes, comments, distractions, drama. It doesn't matter whether they're harmless. What matters is what they train your attention to become. Cut ruthlessly, unfollow, mute, leave, say no. At first, it may feel lonely, even frightening. That's normal. It means you've stepped outside of the default path, and now you're starting to build your own filter, your own mental ecosystem. And remember, your attention is everything. Where it goes, your energy goes. Where your focus lives, your identity forms. Don't just guard your time, guard your gaze. Who are you becoming through what you consume? Stoicism says, don't worry about what you can't control. But here's the twist. You can control your inputs. You can control your environment. So do it, or someone else will do it for you. Principle 8. Anchor your actions to your future self, linking your disciplined actions in the present moment to the future you want. That is one of the most important skills you can develop. Because without that connection, your habits won't last, your energy will fade, and your mind will quietly discard what it doesn't find meaningful. Your brain is wired to ignore effort that lacks a destination. And your destination is not a fantasy. It's a vision, a real clear image of the person you want to become. Without that anchor, your habits float and then vanish. Visualize your life in 5 years. Who are you? How do you speak? Where do you live? What problems are behind you? And what responsibilities have you grown into? Now ask yourself with full honesty, are the actions I'm taking today leading me there? If the answer is no, that's not shame. That's your opportunity. That's your chance to close the gap between what you want and how you live. And that gap shrinks only through action, through choices, through the small things you do every day. There is no final goal. That's the illusion. The real aim is to live with fire in your eyes every day, doing the things that matter to you, growing through challenge, and facing discomfort not as punishment, but as proof that you're alive and becoming. Everything you've just heard, it's not theory. It's a toolkit, a map. These are principles that will work, but only if you begin to live them. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for fear to vanish. Don't wait for the right mood. Start with one action and repeat again and again until it becomes part of you. You don't have to become someone great, but you do owe it to yourself to become the strongest version of who you already are. And even just understanding this, truly understanding it, is already a massive step. If you've made it this far, you've already started. Do what must be done. Let what happens happen.